Daniel Cassette.
Perhaps the most elite and secret fraternity in the entire world is the United States Navy SEALs. Them, along with other branches of the military, are the reason we're all able to live so happily and freely here today. But after they retire from their hardened war life, they aren't able to enjoy the freedoms they fought for and we all often take for granted. Driving home from high school every day, I would see a homeless man on the side of the road with a sign that read, "Help feed a veteran." Since then, I knew that there was a problem regarding veterans, but it never really concerned me until my cousin decided to join the Navy last year. After looking at the risks versus the rewards, it's clear that veterans should have more government support after retiring. First, let's look at the benefits these brave people get for signing their life away on the dotted line next to the X marks the spot. Yes, I said signing their life away. That's where the term GI Joe comes from, if you've ever heard of that. The little short term GI stands for government issued. So once they sign that line, they're to do whatever the government tells them to do for a really low income. Take a look at this. The average starting salary after joining is only $19,198 per year. The starting salary for a military officer is $36,417 per year, as stated by Scott Carroll in the article Optimal Compensating Wages for Military Personnel, published by the Journal of Policy and Analysis in 2005. So unlike many jobs today that get paid extra for the additional risks they take, for instance like electrical workers working on wires high up in the air, the people serving our country do not get paid extra for the risks they take. In fact, they get paid very low, as you can see, compared to a regular school teacher. That would be like a high school or a middle school teacher. And that's really sad information to hear, because a lot of the people serving our country barely have a GED. For example, William Perry, the author of Military Education, published in 2016, mentioned that approximately 7% of enlisted personnel have a bachelor's degree. That's less than 1 in 10 people. To put that into perspective, that would be like if only 2 or 3 of us in this entire room got our degree. And that's super sad, because once they are done serving our nation, they have low money in their account after they retire, as you can see based on the graph. And their low level of education makes it hard for them to get a job once they're out, if they're looking for another job. Even though there are little to no rewards for being a veteran, the risks they take are off the charts. They are much more likely to have lasting disorders and disabilities like PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, 27% of veterans suffer from PTSD, as stated by Aaron Begalman in the article PTSD and Substance Use Among Veterans, published in 2011. And to help you guys better understand how PTSD affects these people, I'd like to share a short story that I encountered. So one 4th of July, in the middle of the day, me and my friends decided to light a mortar off. And if you know what a mortar is, it's a firework that shoots in the air and is extremely loud. So we did it, and we lit it off. Boom, we watched it explode, and we were running back to our cars when a man rushed out of his house and stopped us. It was scary, but come to find out, he was a veteran suffering from PTSD, and the loud boom of the fireworks set off his PTSD. So it's sad to think that the people fighting for our nation can't even enjoy a holiday that's somewhat dedicated to them. And it only gets worse. It only gets worse. Similar to Joseph and the football players and concussions, they don't really like to speak up about the stuff they're dealing with, because they're supposed to be these big, hard people, and they don't like to speak on that kind of stuff. That's similar to the people, our veterans. In fact, this caused 27 Army soldiers to commit suicide in a single month based on the recordings of the Committee of Veteran Affairs in 2010. And that's just one branch of the 6 that are in our military, and that was in a single month. So multiply that times 6, and you'll get the real number for each month. So it takes a certain kind of person to serve our country that's willing to take a bullet for us. So why shouldn't veterans get increased government support after retiring? After asking myself this question, I struggled to think of an explanation. But according to Alfonso, who published State Income and Taxes in the Military in 2015, people who don't support this idea are people who fear that the money will be coming out of their pocket. They fear that they'll have more income taxes These people would rather have more money in their pocket than a safe, protected nation to live in. But I can assure you, if there were people roaming the streets with AK-47s, they would be quick to change their mind. But these aren't the only people that aren't in support of this idea. Another group of people that don't support increased veteran support from government are people that have a misinterpretation of veterans. When I was reading blogs and different sites online, I would see comments from people saying, "Oh, you served in the Korean War, that's nothing like Iraq or Afghanistan." So these people are trying to discredit other veterans because the war or whatever they fought in was not as important or severe. But regardless of what war you fought in, even if you didn't fight in a war, veterans should receive increased government support. People in the armed forces literally put their life on the line for us to live happy and safe here in the U.S. So again, the question we should be asking is, why shouldn't veterans receive increased government support? Not why should they? They're the reason we feel safe here today. They're the reason that people aren't roaming the streets with guns. And according to Trends in U.S. Military Spending published by Dinah Walker in 2014, the U.S. spends more on defense than the next 7 countries combined. If you look at the graph here, you can really get a clue of what I'm saying. There's nothing even close to us. And I believe that a fraction of this spending in the defense budget should be repurposed and redirected to go towards our veterans. Don't you guys think that too? $649 billion. If we took $1 billion off of that, we'd still be at $648 billion, which is much higher than the next 7 countries. But changing these policies could take a long time and a lot of effort. But for quick and instant change, to make a quick impact, I encourage you all to go to this website or just Google the Wounded Warrior Project, which is a project 100% dedicated to helping our veterans recover. You can make a small donation because a little can go a long way and even help save a veteran life. Thank you.
Teammate.
I think that you did a really good job at talking like how important this issue is, and also all of your personal stories and your personal relations with veterans were also extremely impactful in your point across.
I agree. You really tied it to yourself and really showed why it's so important. It was an engaging topic. Not only